Good morning. Good morning. This is Sinder, and thank you for meeting us at the second half where we're going to let the healing begin on this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in with us again this week. We are just ready to have the most awesome time because we have none other than the great Chief Apostle Leonard Lucas here this morning. Thank you so much, sir, of Light City Church here in the city of New Orleans, and we have so much that we want to talk with the Chief Apostle about on today. And so we ask you to chime in. We're asking you to post and to share. Post and share this with your friends, and as well as call them, let them know that the Chief is on, and they're destined to be blessed on today. How are you, sir?
I am magnificent.
Wonderful.
And I'm excited about being with you today and excited about what God is doing.
About what he's doing. What is God doing?
Well, no one person can tell you what God is doing because you're only responsible for what he's doing with you.
Oh, my.
We try to ask the question, what is God doing, as if we could put him in a box.
Yes.
How can you put an entity in the box that's in hell,
Wow.
in heaven, and on earth
Wow.
at the same time?
Yes, sir.
So to try to explain what God is doing, all I can share with you is what he's doing with me. I'm just a witness of what he's doing with me.
Yes.
For what God is doing would take all of eternity, and we would never come to an end.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So I'm telling you guys, you're in for more than a treat. You're in to be blessed on today. Let's digress a little bit. What's going on over at Light City? I know that you've had, almost every month something powerful is moving over there. Tell us about what's going on.
Well, this next month, we have Prophet Daniel Amatine coming back.
Okay.
You witnessed that.
I witnessed that.
Tell me what you thought.
Powerful. It was like something. I've been in church all my life. I've never experienced such the power of God moving forth and the people being moved, all kinds, diversities of people coming from all manners of churches, religions, colors. It was just amazing. He was awesome, and you were awesome, and your edifice. It by itself carries such anointing. That even to walk into it, if nothing is happening at all, it's just a powerful and blessed place to be. So it was awesome.
Well, I thank God for all of the great things that he has done. The first part of the year, I told Pastor Walker, I said, we have to have meetings every month. And at the beginning of the year, it would appear that it wasn't working, but then God started revealing and started bringing. We have Cindy Trim coming in November.
Yes.
And Daniel coming on the 9th, I think. It's the 9th through the 13th. Lord Jesus. Here's a young man who fasts and prays every day.
Yes.
Seeks God on the behalf of his people.
Correct.
And God will take him through your life from generations past all the way up to your present and beyond. He prophesied over a young man, and he told him that he saw a car accident, described where the accident was going to be. But because he was in the meeting, God would spare his life.
Yes.
So now guess what happened? Everything that he described took place, but the fact that the guy wasn't there. He said that there would be a Hispanic person running from the police dealing with drugs. That happened at a gas station a day or two later, but God spared the young man's life. How could the prophet see what was going to happen and spare the man's life that kept it from happening? And it's amazing how he saw the man in it, but because the man of God was there at the meeting, God spared him, and the accident did happen, and everything happened, but the fact that somebody was killed because God spared the young man.
Because God spared his life. Chief, one of the things that I've been in several of the meetings that you had this year, I've tried to make myself available for all of them, is that you deal with generational issues, and that has really set my soul and my life free this year, being under your ministry and what's going on over there at Life City Church, because a lot of times, and most of the times, I think for most of us, we go through things in our lives and we try to understand why are we going through cycles. you know, and we take 3 steps forward and 4 steps back. What is that about? And one of the things that I have really been empowered with that has revolutionized my life is the fact that the things that I'm experiencing did not begin with me.
No.
Most of those began with generations, 2 and 3 generations back.
And sometimes even beyond that, the Bible talks about generations, but we don't have preachers to preach about generations.
Yes.
See, we have preachers who preach, but what they're preaching they've not experienced. It's amazing how we can sit in a place with someone who teaches or preachers but have never experienced.
Yes, sir.
They don't even have the authority or the understanding on the subject they're preaching. They've gone to a book. Yes, they may be able to do what we call preach. They may be able to sing. They may be able to give you an emotional high. But you see, my problems and the demonic influences that I face, they are not emotional.
Yeah.
They are real.
Oh, wow.
And real means it's beyond my natural.
Yes, sir.
Real means it's in the spirit realm.
Okay.
When Daniel was in trouble, the angel came and said to him, it took 21 days for me to get here. The action was not in the earth realm. The action was in the heavens.
In the heavens.
And this is another problem. Once you pray and you think that the manifestation has come, you stop praying. But that demon, that angel said to Daniel, he says, now I have to go back. I brought you your answer. Now I have to go back and finish the war.
Yes,
You see,
fight.
the problem is we don't understand spiritual. Oh my God, we don't understand spirituality. That may be a word I made up. We don't understand that God is a spirit. We only deal with the earth realm, and that's the last portion or the lowest portion of what you are. See, Cinder is not the person that I'm looking at.
Yes, sir.
That's just the body God gave you. But the person that God called and breathed his breath into is the person that Cinder, the person I'm looking at, may not even know.
Wow.
Because not only have you not been taught who you are, nobody has the revelation to share with you or to train you on that subject.
Yes.
And so you struggle in life with a natural identity that's so far away from your spiritual relationship. You said, I grew up in church, so that tells me that God has always dealt with you, but do you know who you are?
Yes.
And most people have grown up in church but still not know who they are. And they're living not as the person God breathed. See, when God breathed the breath of life into you, he breathed into you your assignment.
Yes, sir.
And what happens in life is we get caught up in everything but the assignment of God.
Yes.
And that's why so many people who are sitting in churches today are being unfulfilled, and there's an emptiness in their spirit because there's no fulfillment.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And so thusly comes the responsibility for us to seek and to find. I remember at the beginning of the year, I'm coming into 2017, I purposed in my heart and in my life that this year would not end like it came in, that supernatural manifestations and amazing things would happen in my life, and that I would begin to go deeper in God and higher and deeper. And one of the things that makes what you just said alluded to is that so many of us who have been in church all of our lives never find that truth.
Never find that truth. It's
find that
amazing. Here's amazing things to me. The thing to me is this: how can you sit in a place for 30 years and not move forward? And you call it the church. But here's the problem: there's no spiritualness in the church, and it's a place where you, who's a spiritual being, cannot function. If I'm in a place where I can't function, then I'm not in the right place. But God's people sit in a place called the church, and they make it physical, but the church of the Lord Jesus Christ is spiritual. So if I can't operate in the spiritualness of what God called me to be, you see, most places called the church want you to be physical. But I'm not physical. I'm spiritual. And I have been, God has breathed into me his breath of life, which he didn't just breathe life into me to live physically, he breathed life into me to exist spiritually.
Yes, sir.
The assignment that God gave you, the assignment that God gave me is a spiritual assignment. Why walk all these years and never come into who God called you to be?
Yes, purpose. Yes, sir.
You see? And when God gave you the assignment, he taught you before you came in the earth realm what it is you're supposed to do. Jesus walked in his day, and he stopped and he saw a man at the table, and he said, "Follow me." That was Matthew. Now you tell me, how can a man who's working stop what he's doing and follow somebody else unless he understands that he was the purpose of God for that day? And we have a book called Matthew, and can you imagine Jesus needed somebody who could write his story line on line.
Yes, sir.
Matthew is at the seat of customs, and one of the things he had to do was write down every nickel, penny, dime he got for the king. So when Jesus found Matthew, he was finding an author of one of the most powerful gospel books that you and I would be able to read from.
Purpose.
There was no mistake
Yes, sir.
in what God did. There was no mistake in the parents that God sent you through. Now, there may have been some things they didn't know about you, they didn't understand, but that's quite all right. It's not who you came through, it's who you came from.
Oh, wow.
And we fought the ones we came through, and we forfeit the one we came from.
Right.
And God says, you came from me, and we planned this from the foundation of the world. But what has happened is who you came through bypass what you came from, who you came from.
Yes, sir.
And now you are walking from the person you came through as opposed to the person you came from.
Yes.
So now every day you make a mistake that leads you away from who you came from, and you follow after who you came through.
Wow.
Jesus didn't follow who he came through. That was his mother. He followed who he came from.
Yes.
And see, who would teach you this, or who would even understand?
Right.
I'm not who I came through. I am who I came from.
Oh.
And I came from God, and I was in the mind of God from the foundation of the world. You were in the mind of God before you came from. All God had to do was find you a body.
Yes.
So the body you came through is not the person you came from. You came with an assignment. But what has happened, because you didn't understand, and the person that you came through didn't understand who you were, they only could make you something in the natural. But God called you into the supernatural, into the spirit realm, not the supernatural because that word doesn't exist, but into the spirit realm.
Okay.
And now you have substituted spirit for natural and flesh.
Oh, my God.
And now you struggle in life, and you try to obtain, and every time you try to obtain, you are obtaining more flesh, and the Lord is saying, no, I didn't call you to be flesh, I called you to be spirit. How can I walk with God? I've been walking with God without a salary, without a job, and for 40 years, God's taking care of me. And when I say take care of me, I mean on a royal level.
You're taken care of, yes,
And
sir.
so how could he have done that? And people who have a job, God's not taking care of them on that level. You see, I didn't walk away from the person who called me into existence. I walked towards him. And every time there was never a need. Because who you came from will not present you with a need that he hadn't already met.
Supplied, yes, sir.
Because the need and the supply is synonymous. The prayer and the answer is synonymous. So the very thing that you pray to the Father is the answer to the prayer you prayed. But you don't understand that.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. This is amazing. This is amazing. We're getting ready to go into break, Chief. But when we come back, I want you to talk a little bit more about purpose, because you delve into that. You go so deep. And I want you to share that with our audience when we come back to the second half. We're going to talk about purpose, and then we're going to get into this awesome book, Pain, My Best Friend. We'll be back in a moment at the second half.
Well, I'm so excited to be here with Sinder, and those of you who are watching, you're watching me. I'm over here on the West Bank, and I'm telling you, this is a wonderful experience. She has her live show, and I have my live show. So those of you that's watching, Marquis and Willie Mae, and all of you that's watching, amen, you're getting the opportunity
Amen.
to see her show and my show, and it's both
Same
live
time.
at the same time. So
Amen.
I'm going to have the camera directed on Sinder because I'm here in her studio today, and she's interviewing me, and we're going to be talking on the subjects that she has. And I'm excited about this because she can now share with those of you subject matters that she's concerned about, that she needs to understand, which may be the same subject matters you need some understanding on. So it's an
Awesome.
exciting thing. So we're on a break, and when we get off of the break, then I'm going to turn the camera back on to her, and she's going to ask questions, and I'm going to answer. So you're live with me today, and I hope and pray that you are excited about what's happening. I'm live, Boomer Lifestyle Network on Facebook, so you can go BOOMERS Lifestyle Network on Facebook, or you can watch me live on my broadcast here today. It's an exciting thing. Technology isn't technology
amazing.
Something?
It's amazing.
What do you think about it?
Oh God, it's a tool that God is using to get the word, to get His word out into the kingdom, and we're just excited, and we're honored to be here with the Chief Apostle today. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, I'm honored to be here today, and I just give God the
Take
praise,
us to
the
break,
honor,
Mike.
and the glory.
Living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden.
In the month of October, we honor those who we have loved and lost, and all of us who remain in the fight, the warrior angels. New Orleans Talk Network and Boomers Lifestyle Network present the 2017 Warriors Angels fundraiser for the Susan G. Coleman For the Cure. Thursday, October 19th, 2017, 6 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. at the New Orleans Talk Network, 7601 West Bank Expressway, Marrero. There will be food, networking, and entertainment. All are invited. We will never stop fighting. We will never forget.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise at NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Hi, I'm Matt Peel from Movement Academy. Did you know that according to the Center for Disease and Control, nearly 1/3 of Louisiana residents over the age of 50 are classified as obese and have had no leisure time physical activity in the past month? Additionally, 47% of people over the age of 55 have experienced increased confusion or memory loss that interferes with social interaction or household chores. These statistics are strongly related, but there is a brighter side to this gloomy outlook. New studies are out that confirm physical exercise can improve cognitive functioning and slow down the onset of dementia. Movement Academy has developed an online exercise program that can help you with weight management, prevent injuries from losing your balance, and teach complex movements to improve your cognitive functioning. Whether in the privacy of your own home or in a group with friends, Movement Academy can improve the quality of your life for only a few cents a day. Go to www.movementacademy.net and sign up for your brighter side of life right now.
We are back at the second half with the Chief Apostle Leonard Lucas of the Light City Church, New Orleans. This is just awesome. This is wonderful. And I know that this is something that you guys are going to share. Even after the show goes off the air, you can reach us at Boomers Lifestyle Network on Facebook or YouTube, Boomers Lifestyle Network. Also, chime in with the Chief every morning. Every morning he's on from 9:30 to 10:30, Monday through Friday. This word that you're hearing now, you can be privy to it and have access to it every single morning. Absolutely awesome. Chief Apostle, before we went on break, you were talking about purpose. I remember several months ago this year, you spoke into my life, and you prophesied, or you told me that I am called to deliver the word through media. Not only did you prophesy that into my life, but you activated it. And that's what I love about you, and I've always loved about you, is that not only do you speak into the lives of the people, but you activate it. You don't hold anything back. You're not selfish, and you don't expect for us to, you're not territorial with us. You expect for us to go out into the world and to accomplish that thing that you have spoken into our lives. I want you to talk a little bit about purpose and the importance of us operating in purpose.
Well, here's the first thing you have to understand: purpose. The moment the Father sent you into the earth realm, you came as his purpose.
Yes, sir.
Now, why would you allow someone to rob you of your existence? Why are people feeling so unfulfilled? They've been robbed.
Yes.
They have been robbed of their essence, of their existence. And when you are robbed of your essence and your existence, then there's a void inside of you.
Yes, sir.
Because the part of you that really exists is the inward you, which is the spiritual you, and it's sitting there vain, it's sitting there empty, it's sitting there dry, because there's no life inside of you.
Okay.
You may have $1 million, but you're still dry.
Yes. Yes.
Why do people make millions of dollars and do drugs? They're trying to find the essence. So they think the drug will network them into something inside of them to connect them to who they really are. But I want you to know that when God breathed into that flesh called Sinder,
Yes.
he breathed your essence.
Yes, sir.
He breathed your purpose. He breathed who you were. Or
Yes.
who you are.
Right.
The problem is Cinder has allowed others to define her.
Yes.
And when you allow somebody else to define you, then a lesser will step in and try to define you. And when a lesser defines you, they will take away from you your essence.
Wow.
Because they can only define Cinder based on what they see.
Right.
But the true Cinder is the one that's on the inside of you that no one sees, but the Father knows. So that is the reason why, in order for you to operate in the purpose of God, you need to stay connected to the one who breathed the life into you.
Yes. Stay connected.
You see, the life was not you just coming in the earth realm. The life was the Spirit of God. Jesus says, I have come that you might have life. He wasn't talking about physical life. He was talking about spiritual life. They were already here.
Yes.
So he was talking to people who said, I have come that you might have life. What type of life was he offering? I have physical life, but there was a life inside of them that was dead, that they did not possess. And Jesus says, I'm bringing that to you.
Yes.
I am bringing you the true essence of who you are. And so now Jesus begins to walk in the earth realm with true purpose, a true essence. And what he did not do, he did not let the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the essence, the high priest, or anybody, when it was time for him to give up his life, and Pontius Pilate said, okay, what we going to do with you? And Jesus didn't open up his mouth because he knew that Pilate could not save his life. He came with the very essence to give up that life. So he could not say to Pilate, I don't want to go through this.
He knew.
The purpose of his coming was to give up his life as the perfect lamb. He didn't come as a lion, a ferocious creature. He came as a lamb who opened not his mouth. So now it's the unique meekness
Yes.
that God is going to use to teach you, if you open not your mouth, God will give you a miracle. My God. That's why the Bible says a woman who shuts her mouth gets a miracle, and the one who opens her mouth loses her husband.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But, Chief, how do we, as believers, really, we're talking to everyone today, but we who are believers, who we are religious in our ways, we go to church, we're part of the committee, we're part of the choir, we're doing all of the work, but we have yet come into this truth about that you're teaching about. a lot of times we may have an idea what our purpose is, but unlike Jesus, we're unwilling to let this world go. There are things that we have to drop in order to grasp hold to the purpose that God has for us.
You go to a place called the church. And it is amazing how we go to a place called the church, and it is the church going to a place called the church.
The church. Everybody's going to church.
Okay? So here's the church on its way to church. Okay? Not understanding what the church is, so we have made religion the church. We've made tradition the church. We are living today in the same essence that Jesus faced. He had Pharisees and Sadducees who were supposed to define the law and write it down, but instead of them defining it, they were giving them their own personal understanding.
Yes, sir.
So here comes Jesus in the earth realm, and the Pharisees, who were supposed to be the lawyers, who were supposed to keep the law of Moses and define the law of Moses, now they're testing Jesus to see what he thought about the law.
Yes.
The woman who came, who was caught in the very act of adultery, the Bible says that was never about the woman, it was about Jesus.
Oh.
But see, we read about the woman, but it wasn't the woman, it was Jesus. So they brought that woman to Jesus to see. When the man who needed who Jesus needed to heal on the Sabbath day, they were testing to see if he would break the law of the Sabbath. But what they didn't realize, that the law of the Sabbath said if your ox or your goat was stuck in a ditch, you don't let them stay in the ditch, you pull them out of the ditch.
Yes.
So Jesus says, this man is sick on the Sabbath day. I came to heal him. Is the ox greater than the man? Oh, somebody help me here.
Goodness.
You see, religion cannot define you. Tradition cannot define you. All that is a lesser of what God is doing. So we sit in a place for a couple of hours and we're not being defined, but we're being stripped of our existence. And when you begin to manifest in that house, instead of them saying we can work together, they'll find a way to get rid of you.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness.
And so that's
How
what's
true.
happening in the place called the church, because most of those who are leaders in those places called the church are so insecure with their existence because they don't know who they are.
Absolutely.
You see, I'm an apostle, so people come to me and I understand my role and responsibility towards them. I'm not in competition. I tell pastors, I'm not trying to be a pastor.
Right.
I don't want to be that. That's a lesser of what I'm called to be.
Yes,
so
sir.
you're not trying, I don't want to be that. I want to be who I am.
Yes.
And so when you understand who you are, then you do not allow people to make you something less than who you are or
my
what you are.
goodness.
So when you understand the existence of why you're in the earth
Why am I
realm,
here?
then you get what God called you to have. But most of us are so insecure because we are messed up based on who we came through and not who we came
Where
from.
we came from. Is this not awesome? We're getting ready to go to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Pain, My Best Friend. I am just so excited about this book. It's an awesome book. And actually, I'm the publicist on it. And so I want you to, we're going to talk with Chief Apostle. We're going to give him the mic, and he's going to take it from here for the next 25 minutes when we come back from break. Stay tuned to the second half.
Well, my brothers and sisters, I tell you, this is exciting what's happening here. I'm with Sinder here, and I'm
Take
in
us to
her
break.
studio, and we're sharing.
Save the date. The 2017 Boomers Family Expo and Health Fair promises to deliver. There will be food, boomer fun, and vendors galore, and an entertainment stage that will rock with your favorites from the 60s and 70s. Come one, come all. Boomers, bring your seniors and your grads to the 2017 Boomers Family Expo, Saturday, October 28th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Millard Park Center in Gretna. For more information, visit 2017BoomersFamilyExpo.com.
What's up, readers and shakers? It's your girl, Rhonda M. Lawson, sending you a personal invite to the Literary Lounge. Tune in to Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions each Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for the best in literary conversation. Each week, a different author will join us to talk to their most important readers, you. You can also call in to ask your own questions. So don't forget, each Wednesday at 7 p.m., join us in the lounge for Horizons with Meet the World Image Solutions. See you there.
Hi, I'm Linda Lewis with Lewis Armstrong Family Services here live at New Orleans Talk Network. We're here every Thursday at 11 a.m. Come join us. Thank you.
In the month of October, we honor those who we have loved and lost, and all of us who remain in the fight, the warrior angels. New Orleans Talk Network and Boomers Lifestyle Network present the 2017 Warriors Angels fundraiser for the Susan G. Coleman For the Cure, Thursday, October 19th, 2017, 6 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. at the New Orleans Talk Network, 7601 West Bank Expressway, Marrero. There will be food, networking, and entertainment. All are invited. We will never stop fighting. We will never forget. Thank you for sticking with us. We're back at the second half with the Chief Apostle Leonard Lucas Jr. of the Light City Church, New Orleans, author, father, leader, community leader, mentor, just an amazing man of God. And this is the book, Paying My Best Friend. Chief, let's talk about the book. What caused you? It's been a long time coming, I know. Actually, I'd like to share with the audience that I've known you half my life. I've known you half my life. And when I first moved to New Orleans, you were one of the first individuals and ministries that gave me a shot at doing your marketing. And here we are back together again. It's just awesome. And it's an awesome opportunity to be connected to you. For sure, truly, you have taken my life to new levels. But the book, Paying My Best Friend, let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I had to go through it. You cannot define something unless you understand it.
Yes, sir.
And the problem with God is he will send you through something, and then he will tell you what it is you've been through.
Yes.
So while you're going through it, he wants you to go through all of the existence. You see, Jesus was a man acquainted with grief.
Yes.
And sorrow. So he had to go through that.
Yes.
He couldn't go to the cross first. Because had he gone to the cross first, he wouldn't have understood why he came.
Why?
So he had to go through the pain to get to the gain, which was the cross.
My goodness.
So he could not allow anything to stop him from getting to the cross because the pain was the reason why he had to get to the cross.
My God.
The pain that they had put on Jesus the day he died was not compared to the pain he had suffered in life. Somebody help me. How can you go through with a mother who's in poverty? We know nothing about her family. And Jesus has a stepfather
Yes.
who has all brothers and sisters. And he's the only child in the
Odd one out.
family.
Yes, sir.
Somebody help me
Ah,
here.
Baba. Hey.
Glory to God. He's
Thank
the
you.
only one in the family who don't have a daddy. And he's going to the little Hebrew school, and they're calling him a bastard. Now, a bastard couldn't go to the temple for 10 generations. Can you imagine little Jesus having to go to the temple, but he couldn't go to the temple because he was a bastard? Oh, somebody help me here. Because he couldn't be identified as one of Joseph's children because he didn't come from Joseph, he came from God. So he has to come up with people calling him the little bastard child. My God, my God. But inside of him, he recognized and realized that greatness was in him and he came from the Father, but he was the only one who knew. So what the Father had to do was allow him to go through all of the agonies that I would go through.
Yes, sir.
All of the agonies that you would go through.
Yes.
So this is the thing that God is saying to us. He set us up to go down the road so that we can minister life to those that's behind
goodness.
us. And so you're going through
Oh,
stuff
my
and you've
goodness.
made it personal.
Yes.
But it was never personal.
No.
What they said and did to Jesus was never personal.
Yes.
He knew that he had a plan.
Yes.
He knew the plan was the
plan.
mind of God. He saw in the book before he came down that he would be a man acquainted with sorrow,
grief.
acquainted with
Yes.
grief. He would go through that. So before he accepted the assignment, that's why I asked Cinder, do you recall what you and God discussed before you came in the earth realm?
Oh my goodness.
And most of us do not recall it because we've
recall.
allowed flesh to take us over in the wrong direction.
Oh, my
And it is
goodness.
amazing how that we're here today not understanding who we always was. I shared with them last night in the St. Bernard Project, 3723 apartment F. I was passing by an old lady that I didn't want to touch me because I was superstitious about old people.
Yes, sir.
And as I passed by her, I ran by her to get up the steps, and that lady said, that boy's going to be a preacher one
be
day.
a preacher.
How did she know that I would be who I am? All of earth understood it but me.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to come through somebody, my God, a very painful family existence, my God. But it wasn't who I came through, it was who I came from.
I got
And so
it.
we need to understand
sir.
that because that's who we are. And so the father, there's 7 sons, I'm the only one sickly, and I'm the first one.
Yes.
That pain. I'm the rejected one, that pain. I'm the misunderstood one, that pain. It was all what he allowed me to go through to get me to who I am today.
who you are.
And so now pain, man, I play with that now.
You play with that.
Oh, ain't nothing to
You
that.
understand.
I understand it.
Oh, my
it's
God. Uh-huh.
a purpose for pain in our lives. For instance, if your tooth was bad, then there would be a pain to indicate that the tooth
Something
has
is
a
wrong.
problem.
Yes, sir.
So it's an indicator of the areas inside of you that the Father needs to deal with.
Yes.
You see, I didn't know anything about unforgiveness. So God had to send me through the school of unforgiveness. So I had to go through all of the pains of unforgiveness to understand how it operates.
Yes.
And so now, I didn't know I had a little pain right here, a little burning. The doctors didn't know what it was, but it was unforgiveness. And I was holding something towards someone. And it wasn't until I freed myself by going to them and asking them to forgive me. I was holding what they did towards me when God was saying you need to go and forgive them, and you ask them to forgive you. So when I asked them to forgive me for holding something against them, then the pain left and it hadn't been back.
Haven't been back. Oh my
I
God.
had to go through that.
Yeah.
So now, what caused me agony, what caused me frustration was what God was using to indicate the problems that was inside of me. The people that you have that you've met that caused you some agony, some pain. They didn't cause you pain. That was inside of you. God just sent them to you and into your life to indicate what was going on
to point
in
it
you.
out. Yes,
and
sir.
all you had to do is what the Bible says: forgive them, love them, oh Lord, and everything would have been
Everything's
okay.
all
But you
right.
didn't forgive them.
Yes, sir.
You didn't love them.
Yes, sir.
Instead of forgiving them, you started hating them.
Yes, sir.
How come a righteous person with the mind of God who came from the Father had hatred? What put hatred inside of you? So now Father has to send you through the process of love to get you through. And the only way he could do that is by sending somebody strong enough to cause you to see the pain of hatred in your
Yes.
life to free you from
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir. I experienced that, Chief, in my own life this year. Again, at the beginning of the year, I began to really seek God to identify all of the things that were holding me back. And unforgiveness was at the top of the list.
Oh, yes.
And I began to pray for the spirit of forgiveness. And first having to look at my own self and accept responsibility for some things, but know that for me to move forward was more important than for me to hold on to this unforgiveness. And once I began to let that go, it's like the floodgates began to open and my life began to change because I was able to let go of that spirit. I want to move forward and I want to talk about the pain of severance. This is one of the chapters that's in your book that was so awesome when you were talking about you lived in the apartment complex and you were separated from your friends and what happened from there.
Well, everybody want to be a part of something.
Yes.
This was my world. I didn't understand. That part of my life was the most painful part because for 13 years I've met some people. I had a friend. His name was Mooney. That was his nickname. My nickname was Dooney.
Okay.
So Mooney and Dooney.
Dooney.
How did life ever put those two together? He was Alex Jr., I'm Leonard Jr. He lived on the 3rd floor, I lived on the 1st floor. So why did God put us together? I called him my ministering angel because he was 6 months older than me and better than I was at everything. Here I am, the weak child. Here he is, the strong child. And so whenever there was someone who wanted to fight me, he fought for me.
Wow.
We shoot marbles. I lose all my marbles. He gain all the marbles. We played top. My top get busted up. His top would be the one to knock mine out
Yes,
the ring.
yes,
He
yes.
was. We played football. He would pick me first, knowing if he picked me first, he's gonna lose because the other guy was gonna pick the best
Stronger.
player. See what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
And so now my parents tell me I have to leave this.
Oh,
The world, the only world I knew. But what I didn't understand, my God, it was preparation for the
for the
assignment
next.
of my life.
Yes, sir. For
My
the
God,
next.
what a painful way. For 1 year, I stayed depressed, wouldn't go out. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to leave off the porch. My daddy tried to give me a bicycle. I didn't want nothing. I didn't understand why you separated me from the best part of my life,
Yes.
not realizing the best part of my life was about to
Yet
come.
to come.
My
Oh, my
God. And
goodness.
so there was a separation of pain to get me 1 year later, a young man who was my cousin that I didn't even know, had never met, who lived in the 9th Ward. He came looking for my sister that he wanted to be boyfriend and girlfriend. So I went down to his house. He had a nice looking sister, so I figured, I help you get my sister, you help me get yours.
Work together.
That didn't work out. But what he did, he got me off the porch. And then months later, I went around the corner, and then my life began.
Oh, my
And now
goodness.
I'm beginning to understand what God was doing in my life, why I had to go through that painful separation that I did not understand, that I held. I charged my parents.
Right.
I charged those who I came through and said, why are you doing this to me?
Yes.
When he who brought me into the earth realm, who I came from, had an assignment far greater than he who I came through. See, we don't understand why God separated us from some things
Yes.
in our lives.
Yes.
Why did Joseph have to be separated from his father? Why did Jesus have to go through separation from his brothers and his sisters? Why did all of the great leaders that David had to be separated? They went to make David king, and he's on the back. The prophet said, call your sons, and the man didn't even call his
David.
boy. Somebody help me here. That's so painful. But
Yes.
what did Jesus do? Jesus prepared for them. He protected them. He raised them up. And when God gets through with you, those who cause you situations and circumstances, God used you to go back and deliver them. I have a chapter in my next book that I'm going to write, and I'm going to dedicate it to Mooney, my guardian angel.
Wow.
I thank God for him. He died at
Yes.
18 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
So when his assignment was over, when it was time for the Father to take me to the next level, one of the greatest pains I ever faced was watching my angel lay in that box.
My God.
My God. God is an awesome God.
Awesome
And he will
God.
take us
In
down
all
the
his
path.
ways.
And so I'm grateful that God allowed me to go that way, but it was severe.
Oh, my goodness. Oh,
It
my
was
goodness.
severe.
The pain of deception. Let's talk a little bit about that chapter, the pain of deception.
What can we say about deception? Ugh. So painful. Have you ever been deceived?
Oh, my. Yes, sir.
Have you
It's painful.
I share with you, I'm in Bible college. I spent 4 years. I went every day. I was at the church every day. Sunday, I was in church. Monday, I was in college. Tuesday, I was in college. Wednesday, I was in church.
Yes.
Thursday, I was in college. Friday, I was in church. Saturday, I was in college. 7 days a week, year after year. And it's time for me to receive a diploma because I'm in Bible college. I paid for it.
Yes.
And now the last year, I went to the dean of the college every year to make sure I was on track. Every year he said I was on track. The fourth year I go to him and I ask him, now is it time for the graduation? He says, go to the president of the college. I go to the president of the college not knowing why. This is his desk. He put a chair right here. Most of the times the chairs would be in the front. He set a chair right there. The first words he said to me was, we do not have a record of you ever attending.
Deception. Yes, sir.
Now, I've been in his class. I'm one of his leaders. But he's never had, he don't have no record. So I told him, I try to explain to him, how are you going to tell me you didn't, I'm here every day. And I had to go find some old report cards, which I did, but he didn't accept them.
My goodness.
And he said to me, start over. And I started over. I went 3 years, and the bitterness and the pain was so severe, I stopped in the 7th year. My regret is I should have did what he said.
Yeah.
Though the deception was there because of the racism that I had to experience because he's white and I'm black. Here's the amazing thing. That Bible college was brand new. 1970 it started. I went in as one of the first students. 1974, I was the only person who had gone full-time for 4 years.
Okay.
I would have been the only graduate, the first and only graduate in an all-white college.
My goodness.
Somebody shout with me today.
Hallelujah.
But God didn't stop me because God said the day will come I'd get a doctorate degree, which I do possess, and now I have the power to give degrees.
Wow.
Somebody help me here.
Yes.
You see, what they thought was deception was God's plan for my life.
Yes.
How they try to
Elevation.
deceive you and trick you. You see, that Jacob met a man by the name of Laman, and he wanted to deceive him. And he tricked him with a wife, but he didn't want that wife. And he tried to trick him with the animals, but he didn't. But God worked it out. He put a stick in front of the animals and made the animals change their nature.
Yes.
Now you know that don't work. You can't put no stick. Go put a stick in front of your dog and tell him to become a cat. It ain't gonna work.
Yes,
But
sir.
God has a way of working out every divisive scheme that comes against you.
Yes, sir.
All I should have done was did what they said. It took 13 years before they finally recognized that they were wrong, and they did eventually give me the degree. But it had no power to it.
Yes, sir.
It had no fulfillment to it
Oh, my.
because of all of the pain.
Okay.
But they didn't stop me.
Right. It's a
And
part of the journey.
It's a part of the journey that God has.
Yes.
And that is the reason why I try to bring out certain things that happened in my life that I didn't understand, that it was painful for me. Why am I going through all of this?
Yes.
I didn't know I was a chief apostle. I didn't know I was an apostle.
Yes.
I didn't know that. And I didn't know nothing about church people or church ways. I had to learn. I've learned painfully
Yes, sir.
all of the things I have gone
Right.
through. And I'm still here, and I'm not mad at anybody.
Right.
I had to give up being mad.
Yes.
I
Yes,
had
it costs too
justifiable
much.
reason to be
It
mad
costs
at
too
people
much.
who was
Yes,
hurting me.
sir.
But I had to give it up. And people say, how you feeling today? Magnificent, marvelous. Why? I gave up feeling bad.
Yes, sir.
Bad made me have no food in my
Costs too much.
refrigerator.
Costs too much.
I didn't understand that, and I had to learn some painful lessons that made me who I am today. So now, you can say what you want about me. I'm okay.
I'm okay.
You can do what you want to me. I'm still all right.
Yes, sir.
Because I love you and forgive you, because I'm never going back that way.
My goodness. This is wonderful. We're getting ready to go to break, to our last break. We'll be back to finish up talking about Payne, my best friend, and some of the other things that are going on at Light City Church. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 2 minutes at the second half.
Man, I tell you, I'm in.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
In the month of October, we honor those who we have loved and lost, and all of us who remain in the fight, the warrior angels. New Orleans Talk Network and Boomers Lifestyle Network present the 2017 Warriors Angels fundraiser for the Susan G. Coleman For the Cure, Thursday, October 19th, 2017, 6 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. at the New Orleans Talk Network, 7601 West Bank Expressway, Marrero. There will be food, networking, and entertainment. All are invited. We will never stop fighting. We will never forget.
Hi, I'm Matt Peel from Movement Academy. Did you know that according to the Center for Disease and Control, nearly 1/3 of Louisiana residents over the age of 50 are classified as obese and have had no leisure time physical activity in the past month? Additionally, 47% of people over the age of 55 have experienced increased confusion or memory loss that interferes with social interaction or household chores. These statistics are strongly related, but there is a brighter side to this gloomy outlook. New studies are out that confirm physical exercise can improve cognitive functioning and slow down the onset of dementia. Movement Academy has developed an online exercise program that can help you with weight management, prevent injuries from losing your balance, and teach complex movements to improve your cognitive functioning. Whether in the privacy of your own home or in a group with friends, Movement Academy can improve the quality of your life for only a few cents a day. Go to www.movementacademy.net and sign up for your brighter side of life right now.
We are back at the second half with Chief Apostle Leonard Lucas, and we're getting ready to wind down now. This has been absolutely just such a blessing to us in our show, Chief. We thank you. We thank you for the investment of your time. We thank you. We didn't have time. You must come back again. I remember you were, when I first met you, you were in politics and you were very active in the community. There's so many layers to you. There's so many people, that the community and people across the world may not know about. And we want you to come back at another time, if you will, to share with us, some more of, what's going on, what you're doing, and how Light City is changing the face of the city. I know that you recently had a big meeting there, a big civic meeting, where politicians and others came in, just to glean from you so that you can deposit wisdom into them. And I want them to know it's important to myself and Boomers Lifestyle Network that they know all that you're doing in the community. Lastly, but before we end our show, I want to talk a little bit about staying focused when there is pain. How do we take all of the information that you've given us and the seeds that you've planted today and stay focused when we're going through our pain?
Well, the key of staying focused is staying focused on the assignment and who gave you the assignment.
Yes, sir.
You see, the pain that is in your life, it's like an individual who says, the doctor says that I have something wrong with me.
Yes.
Well, then what you must do is stay focused on that assignment and get it and not quit until you solve it.
Yes.
The problem is, every problem has a solution. Mm-hmm. You need to find a solution.
Yes.
So if you're going to get a healing or get deliverance, you need to find the solution. The solution may take some time, but it's coming.
Yes.
You are a problem solver.
Uh-huh.
They pay you to solve problems.
Yes.
You whatever problems you solve, you solve. Jesus is the greatest problem solver because he stayed focused on his assignment.
Yes.
He went into Bethany one day after his friend had died and had been dead for 3-4 days and buried. And when he went in, he came in because he was focused. Now, he could have gone when they called him to come pray, but he chose not to.
Yes.
He could have come to the funeral, but he chose not to.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So he decided to wait 4 days. They tell us the reason why he waited 4 days, because the Jews believe in 3 days you can come back.
Okay.
So he waited an extra day. He did not come as the friend.
Okay.
He did not come as the healer. He did not come for a meal this time or to stay at their house. He came because he was focused on his
focused
assignment.
on the
What we
assignment.
must understand that everything we do on a daily basis is an assignment from the Father. And if you don't, you must never lose focus, nor should you allow someone else to cause you to lose focus. Jesus went, and as soon as the sisters heard Jesus was there, they ran out of the house, and they were so mad with Jesus.
Yes,
they're
they
going
were.
to give Jesus a piece of their mind. How dare you, that's your friend. How dare you ate at our house. How dare you slept at our house. How dare you, we cook food. You know what people do in the church
Yes, indeed.
when you do something
Yes.
for them? And Jesus said to them, I didn't come as any of those. I'm focused on my assignment.
Focused.
Today, I'm coming as your resurrection. They said, we know, we believe in the resurrection. He said, no, no, no. I'm not talking about what you believe. I have come to be. I have come to become your resurrection today.
Yes.
Tell me where you laid him. And Jesus pulled them out. If you are not focused on who you are and why God is assigning the situations and the circumstances, tomorrow when God assigns something to you, don't ask why. Say, what will you have me to do?
What would you
Stay
have me-
focused on the assignment.
Yes, sir.
And at the end, better is the end.
Of a
I had
thing.
to learn that better was the end.
Yes,
and at
sir.
the end, wait a minute. I got to the end, and all of a sudden the blessing came.
Wow.
I stayed focused.
Focused.
Not knowing that there was a blessing involved,
sir.
but because I stayed focused, then guess what? God blessed me. I had to learn to stay focused on all of the assignments, as painful as they were. And they were painful.
Yes, sir.
But the end result was what I was looking at,
What-
not the
oh
beginning.
my God, better is the end of a thing. Chief, we're getting ready to close, but I want you to expound on the event that's coming up, the revival that's coming up.
Well, Prophet Daniel, let me tell you something. This young man is one of the most powerful young men. If you want to know what God is doing, you need to come and experience. I promise you this. You may have heard or may not have heard prophets. You may not even believe them. I want those of you who don't believe in prophets, you've never had a prophecy, I want you to come. And when God pick you out and speak to you and share with you all your past, your present, and your future, then tell me what you believe. I'm not talking about prophets that's going to tell you about an automobile or money. I'm talking about somebody that's going to come and tell you the reason why you're stuck, because a person 200 years ago did this and passed that curse down to you, and
Yeah.
you're living inside of that curse.
Wow.
My God. He's going to call names out. He's going to tell you exactly what God is doing. Just like Jesus went to Lazarus, a man in a tree. He said, Lazarus, come down.
Come
How
down,
did Jesus know
Lazarus.
who he was?
Yes.
You see, this is a gift that God has given. God breathed this into this young man. Your life will never be the same once you experience this man of God. October the 9th through the 13th, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss it, right at Light City Church, 6117 St. Claude Avenue. You can call area code 504-279-1300.
All right, we're gone. Shout out to Prophetess, Lady Lucas. I love you so much. You know I do. And this is Cinder. We're chiming out for now. Thank you for joining us at the second half as we ask you every week, what are you going to do with the other half of your life? 50 down and 50 to go. We love you dearly. Thank you for tuning in this week.